Hello, Josh. You were last year one of the two journalists attending the Washington conference with Luke. Can you shortly tell us what was this experience for you?
Yes, it was a very bizarre Bilderberg meeting. It was held not in Chantilly, Virginia, but right in the center of Washington, D.C. The hotel is located in a straight line to the Capitol, and it is right across the water from the Jefferson Memorial, right in the center of Washington, D.C. And there were many very high-ranking government and intelligence officials there, including National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, the head of the CIA, the former head of the CIA, head of French intelligence, probably heads of other intelligence, all these very, very NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, who met with Finnish Prime Minister Sanna Marin as Finland was trying to join NATO and Turkey was holding up that process, and Stoltenberg flat out put out a tweet saying that they discussed that. So it was very bizarre in the sense that you had all these really important political figures, not just businessmen and academics, but really powerful, influential political figures meeting right in the middle of Washington, D.C., and there was no press coverage of it. Eventually, Charlie Skelton wrote an article for The Guardian. He couldn't even make it because the conference was announced after it already started. That was about the complete extent of mainstream news coverage of the 2022 Bilderberg meeting. And I was there from Friday morning through the duration of the meeting. And at any given time, there might have been between 1 and 4 people standing outside taking it in, including myself. And usually I was the only journalist there, but on a couple different times, Luke, as you mentioned, he was there for the final day for Sunday, and Max Blumenthal and maybe one other reporter showed up briefly prior to that. It was very odd to be right in the middle of Washington, D.C. with such influential people, and Stoltenberg even admits that they're discussing what with the Ukraine war going on, and the Ukrainian ambassador to the U.S. and the head of Naftogaz, they at least, I didn't see them, but they're on the list. So all these people with all these geopolitical events going on, meeting right in the middle of Washington, D.C., and it just seemed like no one cared.
Have you been able to talk with some attendees? Especially, for example, the Belgian Minister of Energy.
Yeah, so, well, the Belgian Energy Minister, Tina van der Straten, if I'm remembering correctly, she had nothing to say. I don't know if she even opened her mouth for that entire walk with Mr. Lezen and Luke Radowski and myself. I believe, as you pointed out, she changed her sunglasses, but I don't think she said anything. Mr. Lezen, who's on the steering committee, tried to deflect questions and at least acknowledge our presence. So you might say that was a bit indicative of what was going on. Early in the meeting, I ran into Mike Mullen, former chairman and Joint Chiefs of Staff. He wanted no part of having an interview or any kind of discussion with me, but at least that was nice because that confirmed that the meeting was actually there. And even though the meeting was a day and a half in at that point, I still lacked formal confirmation that the meeting was taking place there. And then at the airport, Luke and I had some interesting discussions, particularly I'd say with the two Danes who were in attendance, who were Connie Hedegaard, the Danish member of the steering committee and former European commissioner, and Ida Auken, a Danish politician who presumably Hedegaard invited, who unfortunately at the time I did not realize Auken might be the person who coined "you will own nothing and be happy." I'm saying that somewhat jokingly, but maybe not, because Auken wrote a Forbes column that was later blasted out on Twitter and probably elsewhere by the World Economic Forum that was literally describing what life will be like in this fantasy world where people own nothing and are happy, meaning they're all shoved together in group living situations and apartments and walking and bicycling and whatnot. That was her vision, at least back when she wrote that. And unfortunately, I didn't realize at the time that she wrote that, but Auken was gleeful about speaking about her various environmental causes. And she said that she supports a global carbon tax, I believe. That was when Luke and I were asking her questions, and she was saying something like it was that she was very happy to stress the importance of these environmental issues at a Bilderberg meeting that also had energy executives in there. So I didn't get a whole lot of other. I believe an Austrian banking exec gave me one kind of intriguing statement, but I forget. That was at the airport as he was about to board.
Was it Mr. Treichel about the global disruption of the financial crisis?
I asked him about a topic item which was something like disruption of the global economy, and he gave some kind of non-answer, but at the same time leading answer to the question. Yeah, that was him.
Splendid, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.